first one down low. Now it's the last 1v1 with Rossi in the corner. He sees the feet, but Rossi's happy to take the gunfight. It doesn't matter. Trent for the 1v2 and a 4K. Gets a Red Bull clutch for the guard.
Oh, and that's the Studley Trent you were looking to see today. Obviously, such a big name to come out of the last stage. Basically coming out of nowhere, if we're honest. Very much out of obscurity. Became kind of an instant star in the region. Playing a role like the one he's playing right now on Sova. Obviously had a tough time at his first LAN and tough settling into this stage, but this is what you really want to see if you're the guard fan. It's Trent getting fired up, getting a big Red Bull clutch for you, and keeping this pace up for the guard. This is now several rounds in a row. 4 to be exact. And now they cause a TSM timeout. The momentum is very much on the guard side right now.
Man, what a turnaround. And the thing about it is, look, we're not going to say turnaround just for this one map, right? Because it's still early. But turnaround just compared to last week, the week before that.
Sure.
These post-plant breakdowns from the guard have been very solid. Very, very solid. And that's where a lot of the confusion was kind of surrounding the conversation around the guard was in the late stages of rounds in stage 1, this team was arguably the best in North America. And that was absent in the first 2 weeks. They have come back to play, that's for sure. These retakes have been great.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the big things that the guard were known for last stage is just great fundamentals.
Yeah.
Good kind of like role distribution and just plenty strong at like using their utility in a coordinated way to get things done, whether that was taking map control or taking a site or a retake like you just saw there, where everything was just perfectly timed. I think when you look at some of their earlier matches this stage so far, they just looked a little bit not on the same page, a little sloppy, like that they weren't as refined as we're used to seeing, but this is more like it.
Let's play.
Tour de force out for Corey. Everyone else with rifles for TSM's offense after the timeout. Rossi actually looks like he may have gained the orb. Yeah, sure has. He's got his full Rolling Thunder ready to go, and that was all TSM wanted, so they'll restructure and likely look to head over towards A.
Yeah, obviously heard the operator firing off some Seiya player at C. But Seiya player's made a pretty quick rotation to get back to A. It seems like he has a pretty good read of what's going on. Trent still kind of the early detection system. Kind of jiggle peeking through long. Now gets back into sight. Seiya player will now take up towards sewers. Will they expect this? That's the big question. He initiates Tailwind. Gets his shot. He's able to get away. Can he slow him down? Yes, he can. What a shot on the 7.
That is unbelievable. 7 looking for the trade. Immediately turned aside. GMD, though, does get into the site. With the Rolling Thunder cutting across, it opens up the opportunity for maybe the offensive moment to get to work. And get to work he has. Corey followed up behind. It turns us now to a 3v3 situation with TSM able to plant.
Yeah, that was a great response from TSM in just the nick of time, but will they expect this flank from net through long? It's coming so quickly. They have a player in sewers as kind of a anchor point, but they're just not ready for this pinch, perhaps, as Gamal does get Jonah P down. That alleviates some pressure, but there comes that flank into play, and we're back to equal footing.
GMD in the corner takes a couple of shots. Valen now very aware that there's a player in the corner, but as the dark cover fades away, it's GMD for 1. Now it's down to a 1v1. Net catches where Corey's positioned. One more toggle. Corey gonna wait. Not biting on it whatsoever. And those last shots will guarantee hasn't gotten to halfway yet. Corey will finish off the last kill, and TSM will finally hold the post plant.
Wow, what a recovery from TSM within the midst of that round. You have to give credit to Seiya player. He was absolutely destroying that initial look to take the A side before they could even get Rolling Thunder out and really start trying to execute. He just caused that mass disruption in sewers with a double. Particularly this kill on the 7's outrageous. But Gabon uses Rolling Thunder to get under Heaven and then starts going to work here with Corey to start chipping back at the round. While Net's flank does get some success, Corey able to win out the 1v1 and put an end to this streak from the guard as we are right into the midst of things. Look, a Seiya player trying to get aggro with the Bladestorm at C is kind of fended off, though.
It will force a lot of utility to reclaim this, though, before TSM could do too much. So, for the guard, you've at least created time in this defense. And actually, they're going to challenge Seiya player. I don't know why you would. He's on fire right now.
Yeah, he's
feeling it.
We'll
take down one with him.
Yeah, I mean, they probably had an idea he was up there, so they were trying to attack. That didn't quite work, but now the utility comes out to try to push forward towards the platform. Subroza able to get the entry onto Jonah P. Seekers put Saya player out of the equation, and they follow up nicely with the double entry on 7.
Yeah, good answer there. The Seekers making sure the knives have to be put down. And now Subroza cutting off reinforcements. Well designed by TSM. Saya player definitely had a couple lined up, but can only take down one off the initial peak, and TSM say that's good enough for us to still force it forward and likely take our 4th round.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the strength of TSM, is around just like that. It's the rapid pace attacks with the layered utility. You know, they have double flashes capable to allow 7 to kind of get trebucheted forward with support. And then they have the guys who can follow up and frag, you know, to kind of be behind the tip of the spear, which is 7. And that's TSM's strength right now, this kind of dual calling system where Subroza's calling the shots on attack from the initiator role. He just kind of prompts these just really rapid executes. And if you don't do anything to disrupt them, if they can get comfortable, if they can get their feet underneath them, they are so deadly with the firepower that they possess in all roles to just make these fast-paced attacks work.
I've got your trail.
Another look at it from this point of view. Just so much blocking. You can't even see these Seekers until you're in your face.
Yep.
And yeah, there's nothing Saya player could do from that point forward. So yeah, it's just, I still have to give a lot of credit. I know we're kind of taking a lot of our narrative focus towards can the guard recover after their first 2 weeks, but TSM has been doing this since the beginning of qualifiers, and that's one of the reasons why they are a major threat in this group.
Yeah, TSM's kind of back to being interesting again for sure. They've been through so many changes over the years, with Subroza being the only OG left.
Yeah.
Obviously 2 big changes at the beginning of the year, and then 2 more just, back in early April, mid-April? So it's been a huge restructuring process for TSM, but they have come into this group stage looking ferocious, particularly against that 100 Thieves lineup last week. Looked really deadly in that one with the role changes. Now they're up against pretty much an eco here from the guard, finding a free C site.
Well done.
Okay, Corey gets busted there.
Pick. Yeah. So Subroza's actually going to reach
Alone.
challenge. If they get the trade here, this will be weapons for the guard. This is a very doable round. There's the flash out. But Jonah cannot finish it off quite enough. That is a helpful concussive fault line on the way through to try to make sure that Subroza stays safe.
Yeah.
And with that, TSM may have just locked down this post plan.
That was a bad timing, though. Subroza could have been in a lot of trouble, but now he's getting support from his teammate Rossi, and they're able to anchor down here at Long C, which is really helping, because Net was certainly creating some pressure here from Garage.
One enemy remaining.
That's still doing some work here. Goodness. A destructive round to be sure. Net was the only one who brought a rifle to battle. And he's got the opportunity to maybe even put some more damage in, but instead decides, nope, gotta save it. So we'll run away, but man, I'm telling you, you're absolutely right. Subroza falls down there. There's an opportunity where guards secure that round, so get away with the skin of their teeth as TSM.
There was definitely a window where Rossi wasn't quite there yet to help him out, where if he would have gotten caught off that first flash, he would have been in some trouble, but he wins his first 1v1 duel, able to counter flash and buy time for Rossi to get there to help them anchor down that position. And so, just like that, all of a sudden TSM have banged out a few in a row. Now they're back in the lead. Very fragile economy for the guard going forward right now. If they were to lose this, they might be back to saving, and TSM could really start creating a gap here.
Yeah. We'll see. Trailblazer outside player will be scouted by this. Already has Tailwind charged up, but we'll just instead Cloud Burst and go up high. So Fastline has already been pulled for TSM, but they're not going to utilize it. It definitely has pulled the guard a little bit more respect towards A defensively, and that seems to be good enough for TSM.
You've burned some utility over there at A. You've also caused a disturbance. You've caused a rotation. This has probably caused a gap here at Garage or B site. That's the read that they have, and they'd be correct in it. You start to see them putting that pressure on Garage right now. Oh, that's a nice one. Net knew what type of angle he would force 7 into with his utility and took the fight and won it. That's big.
GD can commit to from the shadows, and he's not going to find anything. What a defensive play here from Net. The setup to assist for the first blood over through Garage, and then tracking back to make sure that the offensive omen could do nothing. And now a defensive lockdown, which is going to be a problem, although Subroza is trying to sneak around to deny it, and it's not going to work out, and that very well will likely be the round with it as, well, Corey's detained. Trying to get to a quarter. He will get there just barely.
Yeah. I mean, this is a done deal. And Net looks like he's feeling it again. I mean, obviously they kind of shoved him on the breach for 3 maps last week, and his first 3 times playing breach in an official match was that series. And now that he's back on Killjoy, back to a Sentinel role, he is feeling it. He is very much feeling back in his comfort zone, and that was a big round from him just now.
Crucial one as well, because it very well could have been another difficult financial situation from the guard going into the late stages of this first half, but now we get to another full gun round, and one that will have an astral divide, cosmic divide rather, to play for the Astra. And this is just, again, just textbook play from Net, as mentioned. It's not just the fact that the setup works out well. He knows exactly where his safety net is, quite literally moving back over towards using the lockdown. And it's just, yeah, that's just what you want to see out of a Sentinel player.
And a big round to do it because their economy was in a bad way. If they lose that round, they're likely losing a couple in a row, and TSM's building up the lead. But now they keep things at equal footing. 5 apiece, very back and forth affair here in the mid portion of this first half. TSM wasting no time. It looks like wanting to put that pressure yet again on the Garage. They spot the Killjoy utility. They get the stun on him. They force Net back. So they will take the space, but Seiya player cuts off the other angle.
Yeah, that all of a sudden makes it essentially a non-factor making a play through Garage when the operator is only worried about that play through tunnel. So a quick rotation back through grass, and not just into B, but through it. And Trent is the only real defensive entity here at A link at the moment. But Jonah just long inside a spawn. He thought they had done enough. But instead, it has to be down to Trent to come back through. It's even exchange, taking us to a 3v2, but the spike is planted.
Yeah, again, TSM likes to attack that A-Link on these B attacks, and they're usually pretty successful with it, particularly against 100 Thieves last week, but the guards done a really good job just kind of playing a little bit more back and absorbing that pressure and then coming out on top in the trades. And that's why they have man advantage here on this retake, and they're going to roll into a victory, it seems. Rossi trying to hold on for dear life. Does get away, has Rolling Thunder. This could actually get interesting.
Oh, sure will. There it goes. It gets popped. He's going to take the knife out, re-wrap back over towards mid. Fault line comes through. Aftershock comes out as well. That's going to force him off the spike once again. Halfway defused. Net gets the kill. Is there enough to finish off the defuse? No! It's going to be a clutch. What a play from Rossi.
Oh, man, I was just discussing how well the guard was managing the A-Link pressure TSM was trying to instill post-plant and how it was giving them a huge edge on the retake and the man count, and that was certainly the case. But Rossi does just enough. He gets this frag here that gives him a chance to escape with his ult, get into Garage. This is the first level of disruption. But then he still has to come back around with the fault line, the Aftershock, to add that additional layer, and he's able to buy just enough time to not allow this diffuse to come through. What a big moment for Rossi, and kind of a new role, too. By the way, one of his first kills of the whole game right now.
Big one, especially considering that Seiya player had him dead to rights. Saw the barrel of the gun the whole way through, but this time we go fast lane, right into high gear, as it will be 7 on the way through. Finger guns in hand. Seeker's also a part of the equation, as the guard are actually overwhelming through a lobby. This is going to result in a free plant. Hunter's Fury's a little bit late, but it does still collect a kill into Rossi. In response, Cora in the backhand side. Not done yet. Trailblazer will scout out to the guard. Is still threatening from this A-Link. Backside of it, Seiya player trying to make his way forward. 7, the timing is perfect, and TSM collect the kills needed.
Wow. Wow, indeed. This is something the guard has been kind of known for, defensive haven, is these AAA lobby pushes, right? And so TSM calling a gut shot C-Rush, maybe having an idea of that tendency, I mean, is huge, right? It's like one of those things where either we're right and they put a lot of presence A early and we find the gap and we expose that, or, you know, at worst, maybe we have to deal with 2 players on site where we feel comfortable with our flashes to still get through that, right? So it's like a very risk-free, or low risk, I should say, like call to run that play. And I mean, what a huge result it nets them.
All right. Well, there it is. 7-5 the first half. We'll swap the sides. Be back right after the 2-minute break. Don't go far. Tight first half here. A bit surprising to say, as TSM's map pick sees the guard going back to a map that they got 13-1 on by Ghost. But obviously the process and the trust factors have come together here, Dust. The guard look much better, but it is still TSM up by 2.
Yeah, it was the attacking side that got him against Ghost. 1 round on attack. In a full 12-round half.
Yeah.
Gonna need a lot better than that. But
That's
back to more comfortable roles, back to kind of what you'd expect. This is a competition they've been able to do a lot of work in the past with, or one similar to this, I should say. As they were, you know, over 60% attack win rate last stage.
Well, we'll see what happens here, as Net has already gotten a little bit of information on someone crossing from B to A, but Corey is very far forward. Recon Bolt makes him reconsider. There's the peek, and the rendezvous will get him out of dodge, at least for now. But that does allow an opportunity for the guard to start stepping forward towards A.
Indeed it does. They start walking their way up. They have Sewer's presence as well right now. Trent are still kind of poking and prodding at Garage with Net. It's kind of keeping the TSM defense interested over on this side of the map. But now they know what's up. Smokes are down. Players are in. Spike making its way forward. And Net might cut off this rotation. Yeah, he does. That's huge.
Spike planted.
Rossi down is a major factor for TSM on the retake. And oh, how about this? Sevens is going to try to force it forward with Corey watching over top. And it's really not going to work out the way it was designed. GMD not moving at the moment for TSM. So it's up to Corey to try to make something happen.
Last player standing.
Not going to work out. Wow. And
Yeah.
this is what we need to see from the guard. It's not just compositional changes. We need to see them start doing better on pistols.
Yeah, that's certainly a good point. As I'm wondering, is like Yamon lagged out or something?
I don't know.
He has not budged. Apparently, I'm getting confirmation he did indeed lag out, so that's unfortunate. So we'll have a technical pause here after this round's come to a close.
Still, though, long lurk from Net is honestly win condition right there from the guard. You get Rossi off the table, and I mean, there's just not an opportunity to retake.
Yeah, that was a big catch from Net in B side to really slow that retake down, and they tried to force the issue through low side and just really got caught up there.
Yeah.
And so the guard will start closing that small gap early here. Likely will be tying this thing up here any moment once we get past this tech pause. And again, the guard in the past really known to get like 7 or more attacking rounds on this map pretty regularly. Again, always good fundamentals, always just good utility usage to pave through sites, a lot of confidence. And now that they're back onto a comp that's more resembles what they've done in the past, maybe that comfort will help bring that back.
Yeah, I mean, because you look back over to the stuff that the guard has put together, and you'd kind of said it, like, it's something new by doing something old in a way.
Yeah.
But and I think it was Ender that said in Desolate, but it's also the innovation of bringing in the Breach into the mix. So it's like it's kind of this fusion comp between what we had known to what we've recently started to see, and it puts the guard onto respective roles that we would have normally anticipated going into even this stage. So I don't know, it just feels right, I guess. There's no really great analysis to it. It just feels right.
Yeah. But, I mean, TSM definitely known for having a strong defense on this map. There's no doubt about that. Like, when you think about the core of this team, this is probably, statistically speaking, their best defensive map. Certainly, Icebox would come close. But, yeah, I mean, they have, in the past, really torn it apart. And again, a little bit different looking team than in the past. 2 new players on board, but definitely the core of this team comfortable defending on this side. And they definitely have some good agents to use to kind of help with the retakes in particular. So it will be whether or not the guard can kind of muster back up their strengths on attack from the previous stage versus a TSM team that looks very dangerous so far this stage.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they did lose to NRG, but heck, Breeze was, double overtime. Ascent was very close, 13-10. So certainly didn't look like slouches even with that loss, and now they've kind of pivoted the roles back a little bit and look great against 100 Thieves, and they're definitely very much in this contest right now. I mean, it's still very much up for grabs. Very, very hard to read who's like really in control at the moment.
Even just outside of this match, you could kind of say the same thing about this group overall. It's kind of a free hunting ground. I think the only reason that we would say would throw a team out of the loop here is if the guard end up losing the series and go 0-3 in the group. That would be a huge surprise.
Yeah, I think front runners to the group, certainly Xset was like a team that I think a lot of people would at least be in one of the top spots. Maybe not necessarily number one, but certainly one of the guys you think could do it. I mean, they've kind of gone from contender and gatekeeper to front runner, I feel like, this stage so far. A lot of their role swapping that they've done has really panned out greatly, and they seem to be in good form. So they're leading the group 2-0. And then, yeah, after that, really tough. I mean, 100 Thieves have certainly looked sharp at times, 1-1 record. Ghost has come out kind of hot so far, in my opinion. And now you got TSM, looking pretty good thus far. And if the guard can get a win here and get back in the mix, all of a sudden it gets real interesting how the spots will shake down in Group A.
Yeah, it really does. Yeah, just for what it's worth, the guard still has to play X set.
Yep.
That would be next week's match for them, and then they also have NRG to finish things off. So
yeah,
it would be like a do or die. You have to win. I mean, you kind of have to win these 3.
Yeah, you really they kind of guarantee it or give yourself a solid shot. Yeah, for sure.
Otherwise, you start to hope that other teams do things poorly, which is never great. We get back into it after the tech pause. It's going to be the guard now searching things out towards C. Aldrin actually going to catch some pretty significant information, but that will be all that they want. And Saya player and 7 dancing around one another. 7 playing very close to this wall. Guiding light through middle, and this is all going to be heard. 7's going to quickly reposition.
Yep, definitely got to go. That is very true. You need to get out of here. They're in a lot of trouble. He's going to kind of play in the sewers and try to see if he can make something happen. And he gets caught up there, and I mean, it's just kind of the mowdown you'd expect.
Yeah.
Starting the firepower discrepancy. It's going to square us up at 7-all.
Yeah, it seemed like a situation where 7 was thinking I was damned if I did, damned if I didn't.
Sure.
Enemy remaining.
Comes to where he was positioned up to it, so now it's up to Corey. Can he make anything happen, or will it be a Prime Gaming flawless first one so far this week? And yes, it will be. So it's a pistol plus the follow-up for the guard to get us back to a 7-7 game. An important round here coming up, I would say, for both sides' perspectives.
Yeah, TSM, you want to cash in against this bonus. If you're the guard and you pull off the bonus, you're feeling like you're back.
Yeah.
You're feeling like the scrim bucks are about to get cashed in.
Take him to the bank.
All the way to the moon.
Let's see.
Let's see. Yep. Jinx.
You owe me a Coke.
No, I call the Jinx, so you owe me one.
Well, I thought we were doing this whole back and forth thing. I thought it was pretty cute, so I thought I'd just keep it up. Damn.
All right. Mountain stakes are that high. That's a beverage, sir.
Quick rotation through Garage with a Nebula to cover the defensive link will allow a free plant to come through, but look at TSM. Happy to give this away. Well, I should say maybe not happy, but okay in regards to give this away. Looking to play off of a long flank, but the interesting thing about this is Net is here and playing in a forward angle, which should allow him an easy 1-for-1.
This is a tough retake. No ults on the table. Just got to go with base utility and just trying to slice your way in. Obviously, the guard are pretty organized in how they're set up right now. They have plenty of utility to disrupt spike diffuses.
An opening exchange comes through, but but Net falls on the long flank. Hold on a second. TSM don't have to worry about those nanoswarms we just saw in the picture-in-picture all of a sudden. But the problem is the clock. There's not a lot of time left. It just took too long, honestly.
Yeah, Subros was getting a lot of work done, that long C flank, but they just couldn't get that extra angle of approach to really get into the site and feel comfortable. Great hold by the guard on site. Even as Subrosa was causing a ruckus in the back line, they were able to hold where they needed to.
One down.
No, holding this back hauls off from Saya player was huge, as well as being on the turn face and help the garage pressure. And so the guard looking fired up right now.
Oh, yeah.
They know how much this match means. They know what the expectations are. They know what they're capable of. And now it's starting to come back to fruition again for them.
Well, TSM now on the Eco with just a Stinger and Sheriffs to play with are going to be tested heavily. By all intents, you would say towards C, but no intention for the guard to commit, at least not as of yet. Wait for the utility. Now they're making their way through. And actually, GMD is going to find one. That'll soften up this attack a little bit.
It will. Also, you know, obviously TSM are going to bite on that immediately. They have low firepower. They kind of have to roll the dice a little bit here. So they're all here. They're starting to clear out Garage with the Trailblazer. You can see the guard are wanting to cut noise and try to get this defense to rotate back before they commit. But the utility that TSM is using is kind of keeping them confirmed that, hey, they're still here. We can still hold this. You know, they're going to keep that trust in 7, the solo hold A. But they're just going to continue to kind of dice roll on this side of the map. But now, finally, the guard realized that maybe pivoting might be the best option. Or do they? Or do they?
Guiding light, not seeing anything. The guard are going to use that as an opportunity to keep the noise cut and then overwhelm C. Here we go. Golden Thunder going to be spent here. Goodness. That'll allow them in. Xayah player does get affected by it, though, so a little bit slower into the site than you normally expect, but it doesn't make a difference. Rossi with an SMG, the Stinger in hand will get one, but that will be all. And honestly, that guiding light, it was nice to clear information, but the guards say, wait a second, if they're going to clear out C Long, let's go ahead and re-hit.
Yeah, it's one of those tough calls if you're TSM where, you know, you kind of have to, again, you have to gamble a little bit there. And so when you don't hear that they're still there off that guiding light, you think, okay, maybe they're pivoting. You roll off, and that's when the guard hits you with the ult and just storm the site. And so now they're up 9-7, but TSM back to a full buy. But this is a critical moment for TSM. Their funds are expunged on many of their players. Corey does have Tour de Force, though, so that is going to help out here.
Corey's going to pull out the scope. Took a shot at Xayah player who double jumped over towards A-Long. Didn't really see too much. Trailblazer will confirm 2 members, at least offensively, threatening through the middle of the map. And with stars being placed down, TSM is going to rotate around towards mid.
Yeah, they're looking to take into Garage right now. They're going to find a softened up side at the moment. It really is just Gamon playing in the back of the site, but the rotation back hauls is coming through. And these smokes is providing cover for them to kind of get into position here. Rossi playing the top log. So Rosa jumps in from behind. And just like that, TSM destroy this split. Wow.
Wow. Yeah.
That was so rapid.
Yeah. It all starts, I think, first and foremost, Gamon just kind of playing it off angle. Doesn't get himself trapped behind in the pits and just sits up top, and this is just a peek from the heavens. I mean, my goodness. And then as everyone's focusing and trying to get the trade, the timing is just executed absolutely flawlessly.
It's just a nice response from TSM. Like, while they may not have had personnel ready to help Gamon, they had utility there very quickly between the fast lane and, you know, Gamon's smoke to kind of create that wall in the center of the site to get their players out of back halls and on point to fight. And they come out on top. Really well done. Great timing on that flank Garage as well.
The scope play here for Corey early through A-Long with support from 7 over towards Sewer. Nebulas will cover. That will push him off an instant. And Xayah player, does he try to charge through with this Aldrone?
Very possible. Corey still entering alongside, though. Yeah, like you said, the Trailblazer counters that play. Corey is also still holding the fort down here at long A, but the utility finally pushes him off. And now here comes that comment spot. Here comes that push from the guard. Now they've created some space, but 7 gets a big kill. Forces him away.
Seekers, once again, the bane of Xayah players' existence, just climbing up the double stack box, gives TSM all the intel that they need. And this Cosmic Divide is essentially going to do absolutely nothing for any intents towards A. Rotation coming up pretty quickly, though, over towards C, and Gamon is going to be pushed off of his initial off angle. Rossi here to assist, but look at Net's positioning. He could cut off 1 or 2 here.
Oh, tested it a little bit there. Still playing the link. Rossi spots it, though, and now they have that pinned, and Sub Rosa comes in from behind on grass, and the guard are stuck in a bad way right now. They're trying to shuffle the spike back over to B, but they are a man down. They need Net to make a play to kind of save the day at this point, and Net's still looking to be the aggressor over on this link area. They also still have garage control with Jonah P, so there's still some ways back in here for the guard.
Yeah, sure are. Right. Thing about this is you have to get a good first blood, and Jonah's going to re-wrap. They're going to find Gamon now with 3v3. They know exactly where this hit's coming from. It has to be coming from A-Link side. 7, though, off of the flash. Oh, that's just too good. Hyperdrive in play. That'll take down 3. And now it's just down to Jonah. Gets the first, no problem. Sees the second. Oh, wait a second. He knows exactly where Rossi is for the 1v3. No! Rossi on the corner. Tidies it up, but goodness, was that ever a look for Jonah.
That was very close for the guard. I mean, you think about it, TSM won out a lot of the skirmishes. Like, there was so many, like, space and utility exchanges over on the A side of the map, but, you know, eventually TSM comes out on top thanks to the Seekers and catching Xayah player and, you know, pushing them back. Did you see the guard trying to go potentially for the C hit? They get swatted off of that as well. Here's the moment with Xayah player I was referring to. So then they try to pivot back to C. Then Sabrosa flanks them, they're getting boxed in, so they just get pinched in the B. They have to do something, right? But somehow, some way, they almost pull it off. But Rossi able to get the clutch and does eventually get TSM the victory. Just a much harder path than they probably expected.
Golly. 9-9. Full purchase for both sides. Rolling Thunder for Rossi. Jonah 1 off. Trent, Hunter's Fury earned. And it looks like there very well could be early point of contact made here at C, depending on what comes off of the recon board. And Jonah's been taken as an opportunity to move on in, but it's Command on that! A little snap to get the second. Keeps things a little bit more defensively significant towards C as the Rolling Thunder comes through to clear, and the guard will bring the spike on site.
Yeah, that was big. They were so close to the corner, really. So when Seven shoots that recon bolt, they know he's double stacked, and they're able to trade him out pretty quickly. Gamon, I have to admit, makes a nice play through Rolling Thunder for 2 frags, but Saya player equalizes from platform, gets it into a 3 versus 2, spike down. Now their lockdown slows this retake down a little bit here. Valen finds the timing on the Sub-Rosa, and that should be it, really.
Wow.
Man, tit
all
for
took
tat
was one
right
recon
now.
bolt, man. Yeah, it really is. So Corey will save naturally, and we get to a very crucial round coming up here. TSM, I believe, still have enough to purchase, but...
Yeah. Because think about the dynamics of that. Gamon probably has his flash going, so he can't shoot the recon bolt, so it forces Seven to have to do so. And they're right there to get him as soon as they hear his gunfire off. And again, credit where credit's due for Gamon to get a couple of frags and try to fend that off, but Sire put out the great recovery once they take the control on site. He gets on plat, he gets a couple of big moments there towards back halls and wraps it up for the guard. We're now back up 10-9. As you said, money is still mostly there for a full buy. Seven has to do a little bit without on a Spectre, but... I mean, yeah, these last 4 rounds have been quite the skirmish.
Yeah.
It's kept us very close on the scoreboard.
Not much separating the two.
Not at all.
And I think the biggest thing here is, I think if you're TSM, you got to be talking about where do we want to position Seven in this instance? Because we've had Corey with this operator kind of continue to play on the deep side of A. We've had that
He's
time and
kind
time
of struggled,
again.
honestly, to have impact.
Really, honestly, yeah.
And obviously, I think Chamber's a new role for him. I think he only really played it last week, but he did so to pretty good effect.
Yeah.
But he's had a couple little hiccups here and there.
So I'm wondering, I think if you put Seven into a position to just kind of utilize this kind of a high gear shoulder peek around A, move the operator back over towards C to help out with these early long pushes that have been coming through. Number of options.
I think trying to disrupt the guard a little bit is definitely a good call. Try to put him in a position where he can kind of be the dagger in the middle of them. Whether that's taking an aggressive peek down middle or something along those lines. Something you kind of guarantee he can get involved early, because they've done a really good job on swatting him off of feeling comfortable at long A with their utility. He's never really been able to get a shot off.
Again, too.
Yeah, did very well. Yeah, see, I mean, he just can't get a shot off.
Yeah. That's why I'm wondering. It is just maybe better suited to get Seven over into a position to just play through sewers. But this is the same defensive setup for TSM, largely speaking.
Yep.
You can just walking through. The guard have not spent any utility outside of the opening fault line to do this.
Oh,
and he gets the bottom side of the foot. Rolling Thunder's out, and how about this? The guard are actually going to commit through it, and they will find Sub-Rosa completely concussed, but everyone else is out of sight. We go to a 4v4 with the spike making its way on.
Yeah, that's tough. You kind of hope that he can stay alive by tucking in the sewers or something like that, since obviously Corey had to get out of there after taking the shot, but it doesn't happen. The guard now has a 4-on-4 post plant with utility set up nicely. They don't even check.
Oh, golly.
They don't even check, and Jonah P trigger discipline. He still doesn't have to show his hand.
This can't happen. Cannot happen. Corey, this feels a little bit too familiar for him. He's stuck up top in heaven once again. 1v multiple, and Jonah's going to get 4 in the round. Oh, boy.
That's tough.
Not good news for TSM here. And now you're going to be looking not just down 11-9, but you're not going to have too much to purchase here. You're looking at having to force overtime.
Yeah, you're in a really rough spot right now economically after trying to make this round happen. It just comes from one corner uncleared on the retake, coming back to haunt them. It's also Sub-Rosa just getting caught by the Rolling Thunder, while Corey was able to escape after his entry at long. Sub-Rosa did not have the same luxury, and it wound up equalizing the numbers and giving the guard the sight. And yeah, this is it, pretty much.
This is it right here, yeah. It's going to be a full force purchase coming in with 3 of those weapons being not too significant.
So change from Corey, though. Now he's playing a little bit more aggro and sewers with the rifle, and he's got Sub-Rosa for support. So this is a little bit more team-based setup, I guess you could say.
Deploying drone.
Wow. This is going to be a lot of information for the guard. They've already walked up A long. They know that they've got two players kind of split up, but it doesn't make a difference.
That's just a great step action from the guard. They read the double personnel in sewers, and they just bypass it up long and get sight, drop Cosmic Divide, and get entries and say, good luck retaking.
Yep. Well, 7 will get one for free. The rest could come at a cost. Nova Pulse will slow him down just a touch. Fast lane out. Command up trying to get here to help. Rossi still has a ton of utility left. They need this, and they do use it pretty nicely. Now in the corner, the clearance is looking pretty solid. 3 for 1, the exchange. Just down to Jonah, looking for the win, but not able to put it to rest. What a retake that is for TSM.
Yeah, it is. I mean, that really just was like an RKO at the top turnbuckle. It's like, you're not seeing that one coming at all. But somehow, some way, TSM get it done. I thought the guard had that dead to rights. They absorb the sewers pressure. They get into A essentially for free, just walking up because of it, because of their read. Good team play in the heat of the moment to get some entries, get on site. But Net gets caught in the link by 7. That gives TSM a man back. And then they work together with their utility to find a way to pry that A side back open. That is huge. That keeps this game in contention. They had all their eggs in that basket, essentially. If that wouldn't have worked, this would have been GG. But now, all of a sudden, TSM still linger around. What a big moment for them.
Just so much utility.
Yeah, just funneling in there so nice.
Yeah. Wow.
I did not see that one coming. I thought once the guard gets that double entry, even if Net goes down in Link, you still figure, okay, they still have advantage still. But TSM, they figure it out.
Now you got to talk about it a little bit, because TSM are going to be in a position to be full purchased. The guard should be fine still, but these have been expensive rounds in terms of the ultimates that have been spent, so you're going to be a little bit hampered in your kind of team fight ults, if you want to call them that. And for TSM, you should have been able to earn a couple of your own. I think Seekers should be close, if not ready to go again. That's close. And Corey's not going to purchase? Interesting. Oh boy. Okay. This is perfect storm here for Corey. Doesn't get a weapon off, but has the headhunter looking to play off of the flank, but Net very avidly watching it. Saya player 1 on the entry. There's the second. And oh boy, this could be 12 right here as TSM can do nothing towards C.
What a read from the guard. They hold their ground. They anticipate some trickery, and they handle it just fine. Saya player has been an absolute entry god this game, by the way. I mean, it seems like every time he's taking a first duel, he's winning it. It's been to dig them out of tough situations at times, and it's been to just create big, tidal waves of momentum. He's near 30 frags right now, having a heck of a game. Showing you that you can still make use of Jet even post-nerf, particularly in a rifling role.
Well, Hunter's Fury will open us up here for the guard. Looking to clear out over towards a link. Nothing is there, so here comes the full play, and Net once again picks up the flank.
I mean, my goodness, man.
Come on! Rolling Thunder now in play, and that will likely just do it.
What a fantastic finish from the guard these last few rounds,
Unreal.
man. Just great reads on TSM's aggression. Their team play looks so much better, so much more what we're used to seeing out of them from last stage. And what a statement from them against TSM here to just come out swinging on Haven and reclaim it.
What this here is, look, I think everyone says this is Icebox, this is the guard's pick. TSM have been great in this match.
Oh, 100%.
From just their qualification period, this has been kind of like their bread and butter in a way, even beating 100 Thieves here on this map throughout their open qualifier #1 run in double overtime. So
yeah, I mean, they have
it's not like they're just...
They have a 16-3 record for the year. So, I mean, they are definitely no slouches on this map. And their first 2 losses, their first 2 games with their core 3. So, yeah, definitely common ground as far as map comfort. But yeah, definitely new compositions coming into this. Double controller being strayed away from by the guard. Bringing in that Killjoy, like Bach was saying, kind of an older comp from them in the past. And then TSM also, moving away from 7 on Jet, putting him on Sage. We are going to see the guard coming in here for the spike plant at top of the site.
And not only do they get in, they actually avoid all of the defensive utility from Rossi. So it's just a recon bolt to get them back into the mix with the paranoia from Guimond. You need to be very calculated about how you want to hit this because there's still a ton of counter utility as well for the guard's post-plant setup. They get first blood, no problem. Valen takes the second, and oh boy.
Okay.
All right, so that's now 2 pistols for the guard. They've doubled up on what they had total for the first 2 weeks, and not bad. Get them started.
Yeah, pretty confident little A take there. You know, we've been seeing this a lot with the Sage barrier up top and the plant behind it. It's been kind of the main way to plant on this site for some time now, and the guard goes through that type of rollout and then just destroys any hopes at a retake there from TSM, and now they'll be able to come in. Marshall, Vandal for Jonah P right away. So trying to get themselves a little bit of added firepower in the next round on the bonus. TSM double facing long B right now, though.
You gotta think the thing about this, if the guard can be convincing here in the second round, this full purchase, quote-unquote, for TSM may not be that much of a full purchase. Oh, great shock darts coming through. Valen able to take the second elimination, and oh my goodness, the guard are just running him down. 3 straight kills easy, and it's just up to 7 in Guimond, and even though GMD is in a position maybe to flank, he's gonna be kept held by this this utility from net.
Yep. Yeah, he's gonna reroute back over here, but that's just right into the awaiting arms of Saya player who will give them the hug of death. And it might be a little flawless coming up here. Nah, never mind. 7 ensures that won't be the case. Getting one with the Sheriff there on the Saya player, but Trent quickly mops it back up. So a quick 2-0 here for the guard. They maintain the Vandal as well, and they'll rebuy one for Saya player. So a much more heavy-handed bonus here for the guard.
Well, especially considering the TSM can't afford full armor if they want to get utility. This is going to feel like an even round for TSM, for the guard rather, I should say. Even though you've got a couple SMDs in play, I mean, this light armor is not anything to just sniff away from.
Yeah, this is a lot more firepower than a traditional bonus. It's the guard looking to put some early pressure here at middle, but also putting the personnel at A and catching the push of Subrosa. A nice little feint at middle, and then waiting for that push A and collecting. Corey, nice kill there on the Saya player. Catches him dashing into sight. They're slowing this attack down now all of a sudden. Pushing in the back.
Saya player not being forward, you can't really commit through.
Nope.
Too much help on site. You needed to have him in that position. So now everything kind of comes to a calm. But for TSM, they've got a really good read on this because you're double stacked through mid. You know there's not a rotation to be. And all of a sudden, the defense has really come to life. They've got themselves a 4v3 situation.
Yeah, I mean, Rossi taking a big duel there against Jonah P. That could have been the guard's way back in if Jonah P wins that fight. But as it stands, the guard a man down. They still have their heavier weapons in play with the 2 rifles on Valen and Trent. But, you know, they're having to be a lot more cautious about how they approach this site, which they will get. TSM willing to just kind of gather up and play retake if need be here out in middle. As the spike will make its way in.
30 seconds left.
Net will be able to place it. Valen still has snake bites available for post plant in the backside, as well as Net being able to drop the Killjoy utility right on top of the spike. So if they can stay alive, they can still make this tough. Yeah.
The biggest thing about it is TSM's going to deny any ability for the guard to back up to use that utility because of this flank. Of course, the sentry turret will scout this, and the guard will actually reposition. They're going to start making their way a little bit further forward on towards where the defenders could be coming from the front. Now they're kind of in a weird spot between a rock and a hard place, but Valen makes it work out okay initially, but eventually overwhelmed, as I think just about everyone in the lobby had predicted.
Yeah, it's really nice that TSM did not allow them Sanctuary to play their post-plant utility. We know how powerful chaining that utility can be on a site once you have spike down if you can get to the back side of it, but Gamon's flanking sure that could never happen. It forced the guard to very murky waters, having to play center site. They just try to fight through. And like you said, Valen had a couple there. You know, maybe could have broke away from that, but doesn't quite happen. But they do come into this with a couple of ults now. The only 2 ults at the table. Gonna be Saya player with Bladestorm and Valen with that Viper's Pit to drop down onto a site for post plant. So definitely some big barriers out there that TSM are going to have to break through to try to win this round.
Yeah.
Especially coming to this with 2 Bulldogs.
Absolutely that. Saya player, good look over the top of mid-tube. Largely, 7 still fine to hold his position on the close corner. Barrier broken.
Here.
Aldrone will not see too much. And the curiosity will be, how does TSM want to play this initial hold over towards green, especially if Corey's going to continue to play at A?
Aldrone going to try to come out here and start getting some presence at B. And this forward angle that's being held right now by Corey is very helpful at A side, but now the defense is going to crumble anyway at long B. But look at this, 7 slips in, only good for 1. The guard's been doing such a good job. Good shout out to Ender, who kind of brought this up. Their trading efficiency has been back to where you expect it to be this series. They are not just looking like, again, like it's the cohesiveness. I thought they looked super disjointed in some of their earlier series where they were kind of just having people isolated and they weren't able to get the trade back. Now they are. Their grouping and timing's a lot sharper, a lot more what we expect from them. And that's how come they get into this 3 versus 2, that they do have a couple of low health players out there.
Yeah, I was going to say, even though 7 only got 1, he did get damage into a number of others. It's going to feel like a missed opportunity for him, especially as he watches his teammates rotate to the wrong site.
And he doesn't have Viper's Pit now available for the guards. That makes the retake even more possible with Jonah P and Net being a little bit low. Now, the heal will come back for Jonah P. Just got refreshed, and he just healed himself. So that's kind of taken away some of that risk as the spike will go down.
Yeah, just so much utility here for the guard to secure this post plant, especially with the remaining players that are left here. Lockdown's going to be spent early. This will put some pressure on TSM, who are moving pretty quickly here.
Have to.
Yeah. And Zabroza's going to realize, I can't do anything from this position, so has to back away. No one's detained, which is good news, but now you have to get on your high horse and run. And the problem about this is you've now all of a sudden got Trent in a position to use his shock darts to delay this. You still got all the Killjoy utility to stop this, and yeah, it's just too much utility left for the guard to hold this post plant.
Yeah, I mean, it's not rocket science that Killjoy's still really good, you know, when it comes to these post-plant scenarios, stuff like that. It's just that Chamber was so appealing.
Yeah.
When he had the 2 trademarks, when he kind of takes away the jet nerf by having the same capability of playing one-and-done risky spots and being able to escape. Like, you still crave that, you know, to be able to put that into play, particularly defensively. But Killjoy can still bring a ton of value in the right hands, as long as you have the right supporting cast around it. And that's what the guard has found, you know, and that's where Net's comfortable. And now they still have that Viper's Pit available to them in this round.
And weapon advantage. Corey looking to take away ahead quickly. Not going to be able to, so we'll rendezvous back. The Aldrone keeps him safe from any other forward aggression from the guard, and both teams will kind of hit their respective corners and set up again.
Yeah, you know that TSM has to bite on pressure quickly with this low firepower, and so you know that you forced a lot of attention with that little feint. Now you can just backpedal, play B, you can plant, you got Viper's Pit if you want to use it here, or you can save it for next gun round, just up to you. Nonetheless, the guard's looking to jump up to a 4-1 lead here pretty quickly.
Yeah. Should be good for it. Especially with all 5 alive and all of the other utility and weapons we've already mentioned. TSM, no reason to not give this a go, but would be hard-pressed to do too much, especially considering how late they're going to be to even look at this plant situation. We'll see. Crazier things have happened. Valen looking for the long cross. Gets a couple of players at least shooting through the toxic screen. More cover and slow orbs looking to dissect this post plant as best as humanly possible. Shot stop from Gomon's Marshall. Corey up top does take down 1. Yeah, this is not bad from TSM. A couple of kills being collected. Actually, it's looking really good for TSM all of a sudden. Shots missing by Net. Not a lot of time here, and they're actually going to get every single final kill. The only thing missing was the time to get the defuse. Otherwise, TSM would have had a thrifty.
Yeah, they do pick up a couple of free rifles as well, and they've done a lot of damage, forcing a lot of rebuying out the guards. So they'll chip away at their economy just a smidge, but there's still plenty there to rebuy for the time being. Alt's still not spent, though, by the guard. Valen's been holding on to this Viper's Pit. This is probably the round he's going to want to use it in a post-plant, as long as he can stay alive to that point. Jonah P also is going to have the res available coming into this round. TSM taking a timeout. Curious what they're going to call here. I mean, they've tried a couple of different things. They've tried to be aggressive with Corey on A side. Didn't really find much with that. They tried to play up close on long B with 2 players and try to fight it out. They've lost some of those exchanges. Their retakes haven't really been there because they've usually been playing retakes from behind.
Yep.
And so it's really hard to grasp onto like one single issue that they could change. I think it's more about just kind of calming everyone down, you know, trying to just get people kind of back in the zone. Try to slow
So
down.
there
this
really
momentum
hasn't
a bit.
been there really hasn't been much to look at and say this is where we're finding
Yep.
success, right? I mean, we saw what Corey tried to get aggressive over towards A one round, that didn't work out. The triple stack defensively towards B when it came to playing a player around yellow and 2 around green, that was okay, but it was heavy trades.
Yeah, I think a lot of this is probably
think
like,
it's-
where do we want to put Corey? You know, because he's the dynamic
Yes,
factor.
yeah.
Where do you want to put that tour de force at? Do you want him playing top yellow, defending long B? Do you want him playing an off angle at A, trying to get a pick and fade back? Like, that's usually what you're trying to decide defensively on this map is where do you want that sniper located? And right now, indeed, you are going to see Corey taking it up over towards long B. The guard, though, looking to put a lot of focus early at middle and A, from what we can tell.
Viper's just going to go out early. Seven's going to block mid by way of barrier orb. So, again, you've fortified every point of ingress that could possibly come your way if you're TSM. Now it just comes down to capitalizing. You got to convert here.
Yeah, you're trying to funnel them to Corey's tour de force. That's what you're doing with this utility. You know, you're blocking off tube. You're keeping your kitchen guarded. You're watching under tube push right now with 7. And then, yeah, you have Viper's Pit discouraging an A play from the guard. The guard, though, going to still try to play under tube. They're going to try to see if they can break out here. So they have to just get past 7. And Gamal, who's playing top site, instant res, yes, but they're slowing this attack down.
Gamal needs to do more than this, though. Oh, and he spams through the dark cover, and he takes down 2 with them! The offensive Viper's Pit not going to be able to do too much besides create a little bit of a setup spot, but the problem is there's nothing to set up. There's no one left. It's just Valen on his lonesome.
Yeah, that's
So Gamal finally gets traded out, but that was just brilliant execution from TSM, and Gamal does exactly what's required. I mean, the guard did everything you wanted to see them do when it comes down to how do we avoid all of the key components, but Gamal is just in himself an ultimate of his own, apparently.
Yeah, TSM just had the perfect defensive setup here. They knew that they could just kind of trust the Viper's Pit to lock down A. They had double coverage on the under 2 push with 7 and Gamal, and then they just trusted Corey to solo hold long B. He never really got threatened. So it's just kind of that single focus right of attack from the guard gets run into a crossfire and utility. And TSM were totally prepared for that. They had all the right stops for it. And now the guard's drained. Think about it. They won that round early where they had to rebuy 4 players. Or actually, all 5 players had to rebuy. So, yeah.
All 5 players, yep.
So now this is what they're left with.
Friend. Nothing is what you're trying to get at. They're left with nothing.
Now, Nets 1 away from lockdown. So if you can get a frag, they can get into sight, there's still some hope. But, yeah.
The timing through this playthrough middle is not exactly perfect. It allows them 1 elimination, but largely it's been picked up nicely by TSM. Last 2 left are Saya Player and Trent, and interesting, Len of 7 was not expecting that there were still more members on top of
he
the,
plants away from the shock
here.
dart spam spot.
Yep.
And he has a rifle in hand now. This gets interesting. He's been detected, but he's staying alive. Paranoia comes in. He's in trouble.
Counter recon comes out, and yeah, there's just nowhere for him to go. So now it's just down to Saya Player. It's the opener, the second with the sheriff. It's Corey. He's gone to the pistol, and Corey gets the dual win. Oh, but goodness,
that was a
did
clincher.
that get too close.
That was a clincher. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yep.
That's what that was. But they get through it. Whew. That was that'll make you break a sweat. No matter how cold it might be in your room. Oh boy. Nice try here from side player and Trent. Almost pulling something magical off here. Just not quite enough help to challenge Corey, who held his grit. To give a couple of rounds back to TSM, start closing this gap on the scoreboard. Both teams back onto a full buy here, including Corey still on that sniper. Once again playing towards long B early.
Oh, the timing from 7 looks for a peek through the Aldrone. Not going to work out for him. Has to use the self-heal. And Trent will still get all the information that he was initially looking for and says that's good enough for me to try to go to the Hunter's Fury. Not going to be able to follow up.
He knows that both are there. He got both of them because of the dart, and then he catches Rossi on the Hunter's Fury. So they know that there's at least 2 here. They're going to get the kill onto Gamal, lockdown, pushes these defenders off. They're going to get a good little post plant here. 5-on-3, Spike goes down. Hunter's Fury disrupts that. But they burnt it so early, they still have plenty of time.
Yeah. This is still going to be a tough retake in the mix here for TSM. You do have a lot of utility from Rossi, but the recon bolt gets sent and is instantly destroyed. So you've got high ground control. Corey's on the way still. And a long lurk is actually coming to the middle of the map. Resurrection, is this actually going to get off? Net is in a position you would think to deny this, but isn't able to do too much, at least not initially. Now falls down low. He's going to get traded out. Numbers back to even. Saya player still up top, the clock favoring the guard. A long rotation from Jonah through mid-map has been denied as he comes back to assist. And Saya player right on into a slow orb is getting caught out. This is still doable. Hold on a second for TSM. It's just down to Jonah. Spamming away, doesn't get the connection. Rossi's gonna stick this. Can he get the kill on the diffuser? No, he can't! Just a bit off! And TSM will literally take it right underneath the guard's nose.
Oh, that's so brutal because with Saya player jumping in the smoke, he gets the confirmation that they have not gotten half. Not only that, but he gets a couple of frags. And he kind of keeps his team in the race, and he has that information, hey, the spike is still completely clear. You've got the time to handle it. But then he falls, and they're not able to get anything on that diffuser through the smoke spam. And so TSM has snuck their way back into a close contest here.
Wow.
Such a good attack initially as well from the guard to get on site.
Oh, this round, all gas right from the get-go. TSM a little bit caught off guard. Gamond has gotten into a position to actually get behind this. So maybe he could split this up and get a little bit of a mini pinch, but his shots come through that will reveal his position even though he collects the first kill. Needs to do a lot more than that. He slowed in the corner and nearly gets a lineup. But in the end, it will still be numbers for the guard as they get the spike planted, just down to Subroza for the 1v3.
Yeah, not a whole lot he's going to be able to do here. And again, this just showed you these teams have a similar that they can play this fast-paced style of Valorant. And, you know, you're seeing the guard getting entries and getting sights, but they just fend off some of these little retakes that TSM's put against them. I don't think that's what he was hoping to do there, Subroza.
I don't think so either.
No, I don't think so at all.
Well, time will expire on this potential 1v3 for Subroza. And that'll take guard up to 5-4 again.
Yep.
And here's the thing. So TSM, we've seen them just kind of, I won't say lay back. That's not exactly the connotation I'm going for here, but they've been more reserved in how they're setting up their defense. We have not seen them get really too aggressive at all, honestly. And I'm curious now with the guards showing some tempo, will TSM try to do the same?
Well, I think it's just because TSM has seen their retakes come out on top. Like they've seen that can work, and so that they don't have to risk taking early engagements if they don't feel that they're favorable for them. They can kind of just trust Corey to kind of be their early initiator if they wind up running into a sniper, and if not, they can just play retake where need be. But this round's going to be a lot tougher when you have a guy on a Frenzy and a Spectre, and Corey no longer with the sniper at his disposal. Looking to get aggressive here towards middle with an owl drone and a push down tube. Has been spotted, however.
A lot of the point of contacts here for the guards' offense have also been denied. Sentry turret, owl drone, both deleted. TSM showing some pressure early through green. That's going to force the guard to spend even more utility to try to clear this. Yeah, Sam's going to get a good read here. Slow Orb's going to slow this down pretty considerably, and TSM has got a really solid idea on where this hit's coming from, and they're using it pretty nicely, although Corey, who thought maybe could have been the linchpin for a multitude of kills, only gets one, and the trades favor the guard.
Yeah, Gamon for a second there, you thought he might be able to pull out a multi-frag, and that would change the pace of the round, but the res comes out from the guard. They had the 4-on-2. Lockdown comes into play. Rossi trying to play the surprise card, but is eventually kind of forced back into this corner. Gets the spike down, however, and finds a second. And this is getting scary. The guard has not had a stress-free win in a while.
No.
And they may not get this one. It depends on Subroza.
Vipers will make things a little bit more difficult. Subroza going to use his own poison cloud to gain some separation vision-wise. Going to get involved with this nanoswarm out, though. Takes Subroza down to critical HP. Needs to get this decay off first before he can do much more else. Valen on the backside of yellow will be his first likely point of contact if he continues on this route. And yeah, sure will be.
I tell you what, though, man, the guard has had a couple of supreme positions that have crumbled and have almost cost them. But they're able to just kind of manage it, right? And now they finally get their big break, where TSM can't really afford much. And this might be finally the catalyst for having that stress-free win that they really need. I feel like they feel comfortable. They've been scrambling to finish off some of these rounds. TSM's done a great job, you know, poking and prodding and getting a couple of little cool retakes here and there as well as some big plays. But this is where they could finally catch up, you'd think.
Well, TSM was able to find all 5 kills and
Oh, boy.
just like this. And oh my, indeed.
What a cool trap.
Yeah, yeah.
What a beautiful
Nice
trap
try.
of Snake Bite and Slow Orb. My goodness.
And Shock Dart for that matter.
Yep, just everything. Oh, Rossi, though. Getting a
Okay.
couple.
One
Jonah
enemy
P able to trade it back. And finally. Still lost a couple of players, though. So still not as clean as you'd hope. But, hey, definitely never felt like they were,
Last
going to
round
lose that
before
round
the
at
switch.
least.
No. So last round in.
Yes, sir.
This is a big one here. TSM with... I hate to say that you have to win this, but you don't want to go down 4-8 going onto an offensive half. So this is going to be an important round for TSM, I think, in a lot of regards. And they've
Yeah.
got a lot of tools to play with. That's the biggest thing about it. You've got the ability to
Especially-
search out info with from the shadows. You've got the tour. You've got the hunters. You're close to a Viper's Pit.
Especially considering that, like, the guard seemingly never gets less than, like, 7 rounds on defense.
Yeah, it's true.
Like, they have been so, like, in the high 60% range win rate defensively on this map. So, yeah, you need to give yourself that 5th round to at least keep it close.
Side player with knives once again went up towards tube, didn't see too much. Corey's watching for a cross. So this is a unique position for him. Has not seen him in this spot yet, and he may actually get a couple of players on this cross here.
Yeah, that
Unless
could
they
be
decide to
big.
come up through mid. This is everything.
Yeah, this could be so huge. They're gonna start swinging out.
Oh.
He's able to catch it. Saya player trying to come out with Blade Storm. Able to catch his frag and get away. That's something that TSM's really been missing, is him getting opening picks. They haven't had a lot of early advantages, it feels like. They've been traded right back usually, as the guard is able to start making their push under. Corey slinging around these routes, trying to get impact more out of the store. The force misses, though, and that's such a big miss. As Valen gets the frag, net slipping in behind enemy lines. Perhaps yellow goes down. I mean, it's all
Not
crumbling.
It's not good, Dust. It's not
not.
good at all.
They have
It's
no
not
idea.
good at all. Hunter's Fury out for Rossi. He knows he's got to watch his back, too, though. That's the problem. He actually can't even use the 3rd dart. 7 up top looking to challenge quickly, but gets revealed by the recon
Oh,
bolt.
boy.
That will be about it. Missed opportunities
Wow.
in the last round here for TSM, and well, we can just say it the way it should be.
It's,
Missed shots.
It was
TSM.
one missed shot and one big flank from net, and that combo was enough to give Guard a massive lead. We'll see if they can capitalize in 2 of the series, get their first win after a short break.
Welcome back, everybody. Good news for the Guard as they find themselves up 4 in 8-4 half. Very convincing one, to say the least, even though the rounds themselves are actually very, very narrow here, Dust. It's on to TSM. Have to come out and, well, it would be nice to win the pistol here to get yourself on the winning ways.
Yeah, they need this.
Yeah.
That's my analysis, buddy. That's what I got.
So I pay you the big bucks.
Do they? I'm happy with it.
I'm glad you're happy. TSM, oh, they get the blind off on the Saya player. Here come all of the walls. This is what Ender was talking about when it comes to just delay strategy in the build for this Guard defense. And oh boy, it is just, I don't want to call it a line in the sand. That is the Berlin Wall of walls right there. No one could step through, and the Guard will take a 5-4 advantage after the first blood gets collected.
Not the start that TSM were hoping for here, as they're still trying to see if they can brute force their way into this A site. Corey gets a important frag, and the second one to boot. That could be it. That could be the change of pace they needed to bully their way into this. But are they going to back off? That's my question. They start to feint a retreat to try to force the defense to maybe scramble a bit more towards middle, and now they're
Yeah,
going to
good
re-hit
calls.
this A site with really only Valen left to defend.
Well, the spike is going to be gifted away as a plant will come through. Allen is needed to play his lifelong flank, possibly coming up from net, but then reconsiders. So it's going to have to be a 3-man retake from the front. TSM spreading the box just a touch here around B. Players up close and still a couple of clutch positions on the backside. Here comes the retake, though, very quickly. Net able to take down 1, and in the corner, 7. Good for the response. Down to a 2v2 we go. Rossi nearly caught out with utility and will get caught out with utility. So it's just down to Sabrosa. Spike being toggled, and there's the help coming out, and the Guard will retake 3v4. How?
That's tough. That is tough if you're a TSM fan. You feel like you should be getting that one. When Corey gets those 2 kills, they slow it down. They force the defense to kind of break apart. Gives them a comfortable spike play on A site with barrier for cover. You figure, all right, this is their chance. It's right here. Corey, big work with the headhunter. But they just can't stop Net and Co, who just push this back hall area, and this should just never work. This should just never happen. But Valen and Net get it done, and the guard just looked fired up, man.
Yeah. Man. Rossi
We've been
getting
waiting
caught
to see
is
this.
so tough. Recon bolt out. You also heard the shrouded step. That was Gamond who made the move over to the top side of green. Jonah
they
heard
know.
this, is very aware, but does not want to take the fight. Feeling a little bit soft in how many numbers are here defensively, which would have been the right call because it is a heavy stack for TSM.
He'll just take the read and walk back. That's smart. He can drop the barrier orb as well to slow down this progression onto site. He's now getting support as well from his teammates. There's a little bit of chip damage there, but that's a nice entry from 7 onto his support system. Valen now gone. Now Jonah P has to back up, concede his barrier, concede the man advantage. Spike will go down, but Net looking to maybe disrupt that there with the Nano Swarm.
And you also still have some long utility from Trent that could come in. Shock Dart was the first. Recon Bolt still being held. So is the Owl Drone. There's the Recon out.
Yep.
That will actually reveal so much information.
Yep.
That, yeah, indeed, TSM are still here. And do they call for Sai to rotate?
Yeah, that's the big question. They left Sai to guard A solo for a bit. He's also kind of watching the mid to A push. So they're just kind of trusting him to kind of do his thing while they just hold this 3-man B defense, which, with the firepower they have, could be enough. Alarm bot, or Nano Swarm, excuse me, gets triggered. They try to run through it anyway to get a plant going.
Timing here for Trent is going to be everything. It's an even exchange. Pinstripe goes the kill feed. 3v2 numbers with TSM, but the clock is not in their favor. They've collected the spike. Trent comes forward, trying to stop the plant from even coming through in the first place and takes down all 4. Oh, goodness.
Oh, boy. There's Trent. There he is. Welcome back, buddy. The clutches are back from the man himself.
You failed. Now flee.
That was definitely a scary situation there for just a moment. But Trent just played those timings so well, and that's what he was known for, man. Just having that intuition on when to peek, who to fight first. And just having that confidence. And I think that's something that maybe he got kind of shaken of with the trip over to Iceland. You know, that can kind of rattle a player, can kind of make them feel a little bit more uncomfortable, maybe could doubt themselves in those situations. But now, you know, starting to feel it again, starting to feel in his place, and that's a big one.
A gift.
That's Hunter's Fury earned in 2 rounds, by the way.
Yeah.
Just gonna
Bonus here
casually
for the
throw that
guard.
out there.
TSM's got to win this. No doubt about it.
Have to. It needs to be
Cannot let
clean,
him-
too.
Yep.
You can't let the guard chip away at your repurchases here. You've got to start building a bank while also building a comeback.
That's a good point. TSM looking like they're going to find the gap in the defense here at long B at least. There's a lot of presence early from the guard at A to fight up front. They're going to keep Saya player in this aggressive angle. But they're still not really rotating anyone just yet. But information now being gained by Net that it is indeed a long B pressure.
Yeah. I mean, this has to be a Hunter's Fury defense of the initial plant.
I think that's what they're banking on. That's why they're not rotating too heavy. They're letting
Yeah.
Net just continuously get information but not overcommit for it, and they can play retake if they need to. But actually,
Spike's going down. Hunter's Fury has not been channeled yet, so it's just going to be a quick challenge of the post-plant setup. And if you can funnel them back towards yellow, hell, I think we're all envisioning what a Hunter's Fury can do in the backside position, and Gamond is not going to give him an opportunity. First 2 kills quickly collected. There is a response, but it's a small one in the scheme of things as we get to a 4v2. Saya player in the back, scouted out. Still finds one with the Guardian. Dashing away. 7 will be there to make sure no further antics will likely happen.
What
Although
the
Jonah
heck?
actually takes another. Okay, so this has not been
No
clean at
way.
all. Hold on a second. I mean, once again, there's not going to be a lot of time here, but goodness, had the guard made this as punishing as possible.
Literally. Everyone fades. Everyone must rebuy. And that's going to keep TSM's economy very much in check. The guard were prepared for that. That was their bonus. They didn't invest. They were ready for this. Look at this. Subros has to come in with the Spectre.
Yeah.
I mean, this is so damaging. May not be the win, but it is going to have some lasting impact, that's for sure. Look at this. Spectre and Bulldog.
White
Now, there is
armors.
Tour de Force for Corey, so, you know, at least they have that going for them. So Rosa also is going to have an ult available for post-plant.
Let's play.
I don't think anyone who was watching expected that to be the outcome in a 2v4.
I almost wonder what could have happened if they would have invested Hunter's Fury to disrupt the plant while that flank from Xayah player was coming in. Maybe he could even pulled it off, but I can understand wanting to be a little bit restrained on spending that when you know how much value you could have in the opening gun round.
Well, Jonah's committed here.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on how long he fancies a stay.
Well, not much
TSM
longer
will
after
be in
that.
full numbers, yeah. I'm good.
I can answer that question for you. It's a resounding, I'm going to get the heck out of here. As it's going to have Valen join him over at yellow, put that Viper utility down, try to slow TSM down just a bit. TSM, though, looking to keep prying forward with the Paranoia and the Recon Vault. They found out Jonah P. They're looking to put the pressure on him here over towards yellow position.
Snake bites. Okay, I was going to say Corey, he misses that and kills the teammate because of it. That would have been bad news bears, but he's able to get the scope back up very quickly, still collect elimination. Viper's pit down. Valen looking to challenge quickly. Taking a lot of decay. Oh, careful. Even your teammates' Hunter's Furies can finish you off. And TSM are finding quick, successive kills. Trent able to get one. Xayah player quickly on the flank. 7 here to try to deny it and not going to be able to do too much with this. So now the pinch has to come through between Xayah and Trent. This will be another 2v4 situation. They get good information onto Corey, who offers himself up. That'll be an easy kill. Tailwind now recharge, right-clicking away. Nearly an opportunity, but TSM numbers will sustain.
Yeah, when Xayah player gets that kill on Corey at yellow, you figure if he somehow catches Subrosa coming out the ult, all of a sudden that could be a problem, but Subrosa able to win that fight against Xayah player, and aren't really able to see Trent be able to find space to get much done. So that's going to put the guard on the back foot here, just some sheriffs to play. So TSM kind of escaping the economic pressure for now. Able to come into this one. This is their opportunity to kind of build up some bank and start chipping away at the lead that the guard has built up. You're going to see them looking to get a little bit heavy-handed at A here pretty early, but also some mid-pressure.
Similar look at that trap over towards A. Does find some chip damage, but largely everyone is fine.
Mm-hmm.
And look how far forward Valen's gotten.
Yeah, I mean, he's just trying to take this big risk so they can put a 4-man A defense in place. And it's going to pay off as far as position goes, but can they actually get the firepower out there? Oh, yes, that immediate catch on the Xayah player, but nice response from Jonah P. With the res and, yeah.
This is TSM doing exactly what they need to do. Yep, and clean. We'll just drop one. The res was used, as you'd mentioned, but largely speaking, TSM avoid the potential claustrophobia around the A site. And they bring this back to within 3. Still not a healthy, super healthy buy. You've got Rossi still on a Bulldog, but you win this round, you're dancing.
Yeah, you could force the guard onto a save yet again. You could really start closing the gap on the scoreboard. So, yeah, this could be a nice little shift in momentum, so to speak, if TSM can get this one going. Again, TSM had that same strength as the guard. Those really finite, rapid pace attacks. They're very decisive, and they have the skill to trade. But the guard, it looked like, new life has been breathed into them.
Yeah, for sure.
Compared to the start of the stage. Like, they look like they're back on track. Kind of see the confidence there. You can see the playmaking's back. They don't look disjointed anymore like they did the first couple of weeks. They seem to, have been sharpened again. So, with them already having a 3-round lead and knowing the guard's history defensively on this map, their comfort to play that side, they're still very much a front runner right now. But TSM taking a timeout, trying to talk things through. They're certainly no strangers to having some good attacking sides. We saw it against FaZe in the open qualifiers. We saw it against Luminosity in the same qualifier.
I would say this for TSM is all about how do we want to try to potentially get an easy entry against the full force of the guard here. Especially if you can assume that Xayah player will be sniping can you just take that out of the equation immediately? Viper's going to be called for Valen. That's going to be used over towards A. So very similar in regards to what we had seen on the opposite side, where Viper's will block one side. You've got good utility in mid. You're trying to force everything over to Saya player, but
yeah, the difference is TSM wants to test this Viper's pit.
Yep.
They want to call that shot. Okay, if you're going to trust in this to be your solo A defense, let's see if we can catch you doing that. As Valen drops the poison orb, is just trying to play safe here on the pipe. Trent is going to get the read with that owl drone. That's so big, and I like that Valen didn't commit the chase. He doesn't want to give up his position. But now, TSM knows that they have support. Oh, they ult around the Viper's pit.
Yep. Gamon will get through this. That actually flushes Valen completely away, so the Viper's pit does get mitigated completely. Trent holding close.
What?
Takes the first, no problem.
Planted.
Almost too easy, you would start to wonder. Lockdown out, immediately countered by the Hunter's Fury. Last start from Rossi, not going to connect it to too much. The guard with numbers. Jonah P already onto the defuse, and Nat is pushing forward to gatekeep this. Oh my goodness, it's a blunder! And no one will dissuade Jonah from sticking. What a retake!
What a prime gaming flawless that is. My goodness. It's like the guard made the right call every step of the way. You know, Valen gets his support from Trent when he needs it. They don't overcommit off the dart. They use the lockdown, the burn Hunter's Fury to make their pathing a little bit easier when they start walking into sight for the retake itself. They catch Gamon, kind of making a blunder in my opinion, dropping down there. Kind of just gave a freebie over. And then they just mow the opposition down, left, right, and center. TSM never got comfortable in that round.
The thing about it was the execute was, you could argue, pretty flawless.
It was a good use of the ult.
You wanted.
Yeah, it was a good use of the ult. It's just Gamon kind of... That was just weird how he just had to drop down like that. I mean, just leave himself so exposed. Such an easy pickup for the guard to get the opening strike.
Unreal.
And this is it for TSM. All their credits are into this. If this doesn't work, they're, you know, obviously going to buy what they can, but it's going to be far less than this. This has to pan out.
Paranoia Owl Drone coming through. TSM not fully committed to this yet, but they will get the spike up. 7 will barrier orb off the top. Shock darts in. None of that is going to connect. So the post-plant setup is now where it all rests on for TSM. Gamon playing a little bit more reserved this time. Backside of 410. You've got players mid-map in Sabrosa, and the guard is looking to full-fledged hit this dust from the front.
Yeah, they're all coming in, but TSM have the shooting line ready to pop off. The res comes in, though, but here comes Sabrosa on that flank, but he gets caught by Saya player. Saya with another as well, gets it back into a 2 versus 2, no way.
This is still doable. Trent has still full HP. He's zoning forward. Trent zoning forward. He sees the other. Rossi on the corner. Saya player's holding. Oh my goodness. Saya player and Trent just 2v5 TSM.
Oh my goodness. I can't believe it. TSM had such a great take. They had a way to fall back. They had the numbers in post plant. You feel like they had superior positioning as well. But somehow Trent and Saya player pay with for it. That kill's so huge. Catching Subrosa. Immediate catch on the Gamon as well. And then Trent, the ever clutch himself, pulls out another one. And you feel like the writing's on the wall at this point.
Has to be.
The guard has kept their tournament lives alive, most likely, as long as they can put the finishing touches on this. Again, I couldn't tell you how devastating 0-3 would have been for this team after winning it all in the region last time around. They would be back in contention if they can finish the series.
Oh, the Saya player is feeling the hot hand. Lurking. 3 members up through mid, though. Oh, but Ned has gotten a pretty solid read on this. Saya player does get out of dodge. Trent here to help over, and oh boy, yeah, it's not looking very good.
Oh!
Paranoia's not going to do too much. Nearsighted in close quarters is whatever.
Remaining.
And Valen was also hiding, playing a little bit more of a reserved location, and that's going to turn it to a Corey 1v3.
What fine-tuned team play there, man. To catch that backline push through Kitchen. A little bit of that old the guard flair coming right back at you after a bit of a lull period. And they get their dub. They get a much-needed win here.
It's just, look, Doug and Bach and Ender are going to talk about this, I think, pretty extensively in their reactions to this match.
Sure. But
it's not, I don't want to take too much away from TSM, but it's the simple fact that all the things that we wanted to see about the guard came to play.
Yep.
All of the weird team coordination moments that were missed in the first 2 weeks, largely resolved. Compositional questions, largely answered, and just the individual confidence seems to be at an all-time high again. The fact that they even let Haven through the veto process in the first place, I think says a lot about how this team trusts that last week was kind of a fluke. Let's get back to our winning ways.
Yeah, it's like trusting comfort over innovation. You know, kind of going back